Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to talk about V, the Final Battle. But before we get into it, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Also, shameless plug as always from my TeePublic page. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And we're going back to 84, folks, for V, the Final Battle. Yes, you can get this Blu-ray on Amazon for about 20 bucks if you're interested. I had not seen I've only ever seen this part of the series once. This is the second part of V, the original series that came out in 84. And Kenneth Johnson did not come back. He wrote the script, but he had creative differences, so he left the project. He's still credited with the script under a pseudonym, but he was not involved. He didn't direct this film. Matter of fact, who directed this miniseries was Richard T. Heffron. This was released in 3 parts. May 6th of 1984 was when it aired. The first one aired. And in total, it's about 4.5 hours long. And we have our whole cast back of main characters. Plus, we add a badass cast member, which we're going to talk about. This movie picks up pretty much right after the events of the original V miniseries. And we still have the rebels trying to fight the visitors, and they're taking losses. And pretty soon, a little bit into this part of the miniseries or the final battle, we are introduced to our brand new cast member, Michael Ironsides, playing Tyler Hamm. And I got to be honest, he is a very welcome addition to this second part of this saga. Michael Ironsides is like an ex-military guy who has created his own resistance force, and he's fighting back against the visitors. And he ends up teaming up with the Beastmaster himself, Mark Singer, Mike, and his band of resistance fighters against Diana and the rest of the visitors. And they start doing guerrilla warfare. And we get the pregnancy that started in the first film that ends up being twins. One looks like a human child, although with a forked tongue, and the other one is a lizard that ends up dying, that gives the humans a chance, something to kill the visitors, because there's a toxin, this bacteria that's toxic to the visitors. And the resistance creates this vaccine for the visitors that are helping them, especially like Willie and the others. And there's one final battle at the end, and the resistance wins, although Diana does get away, and she takes off in outer space, and we have a victory. Which, after this, there was a series that ran for 19 episodes, although it was supposed to be 20. They canceled it, and it was ended on a cliffhanger, so they didn't even film the 20th episode. And I don't remember the series all that much. I remember watching it back then, or whenever it aired, like later when I saw it. But I don't remember anything about it. And that is pretty much V, the Final Battle. So, compared to the original one, well, first of all, obviously, the originality of it's gone. But you know, I like the characters from the first miniseries, so I want to see what happens. And like I said, I only ever saw this once, so rewatching it was pretty much a fresh new watch for me. The characters are fine here again, and we get to see their development going forward. Michael Ironsides is definitely a welcome addition. He makes his characters very interesting, and he spices things up in all the best ways Michael Ironside can do. So he brought an injection of adrenaline to this film. And it was definitely needed. There's more action in this miniseries compared to the first one, for sure. But some of it's just boring action. Some of it's not bad. And the effects, for the most part, we'll talk about the bad part of the effects, but the makeup effects on the visitors when their face gets ripped off still looks great. They did a great job with that. And, the laser blasts look great. They sell it really well here. And I know I said in the first review for the original miniseries, it cost them $2,000 per laser blast. So it wasn't a cheap effect to achieve for these miniseries. And as we know, TV miniseries, even though they gave them some money, especially this one, they still didn't have an unlimited amount of money. It wasn't like they were making a feature-length film for a theatrical. So they were limited. So to pull off some of the stuff they did was pretty cool. Diana is diabolical as ever. She kills a priest in this one. Our priest that's part of the resistance goes up and gives her a Bible, and she reads some of it. And I like this scene because you could tell she was shaken by what she read, but she lashes out and kills the priest and blows up the Bible. So I really do like that scene. It's probably one of the better scenes between two characters. Besides Mike and Tyler going at it, they're always butting heads because Mike has heard of Tyler from his military days. So I like their back and forth, but they have respect for each other, so they do play it really, really well. Mike's mom is still acting ridiculous. Like, she just throws away her son because she's all in. They just show what kind of person she truly is. In this version, her husband leaves her, and she ends up getting killed at the end by Andrew Prine's character, who plays the head of security for the visitors. Overall, it's enjoyable. The downside of it is I think there's a lot of padding here. There was no reason for this to be over 4 hours long. They could have did it in 2 parts, but they do it in 3. There's segments that are dragged out, and you can feel it at times. I still had fun with it and fun revisiting this, but there's a lot of padding here as well. There was no reason for it to be over 4 hours, unfortunately. There was definitely stuff they could have cut out that really just is there to be there. The battles, again, some of the action's pretty good, some of the action's not. It just depends. The effects wise, the makeup on the creatures when they get their skin ripped off, it still looks cool as hell, and it's well done. Some of the other effects, I mean, this was made back in the 80s, so we have to forgive it for the time in which it was made. Some of the matte paintings and that, it looks cool. I like matte paintings when they're done well. Some of them are done well here. Some of the effects don't look that great. The makeup effects where they really drop the ball is with the baby reptile when it comes out of her, when she gives birth. It looks like, now, I'm glad it was real, obviously, and back then they would have had to do it for real, but it looks like a cheap puppet. It does not look good. It's not their finest work compared to the makeup on the visitors. So that, when it pops up, it's like, oh God, it just looks like a cheap prop. And I'm sure it wasn't cheap, but it looks cheap under the lighting and the way it's shot. Like, they're right up on it, like close to it. They're not trying to hide it. I mean, it's close up on it a few times, and it just looks like cheap latex prop that I could buy for Halloween. I'm sure it wasn't cheap, but unfortunately that prop the ball was dropped on that one. I mean, they should have hit it more if it didn't look that great, but they show it all its glory in close-ups multiple times, and it's kind of laughable, honestly. But it was done for real, so what the hell who might have complained? At the end of the day, this is not as good as the original miniseries, even though there's more action. But it's still a fun rewatch, and there's still some interesting things in this that make it intriguing to do a rewatch on it, just watch it for the first time if you've never seen it. I will contend that they should do a two-part film on V and bring it back. With a decent budget and a visionary director, somebody that has vision, I think it could be a really badass, even a trilogy of movies. They could do something really cool with it. I wish they would. I know they did the reboot series a couple years or several years ago on ABC, but I think this deserves a theatrical movie, 2 movies at least, but I think you could probably stretch it out over 3 movies. There's some interesting things in here about fascism and people believing everything they see on TV. There's some really cool stuff in there. Topical stuff, really cool. This one kind of goes more the action route. So on that sense, the first one was more interesting about the takeover and the visitors like implanting themselves in every form of our government. And throughout the populace, people were believing that these are nice people. They're here to help us, and believing everything they're watching on TV. There's a lot of cool messaging here about fascism and how it could overtake, and it could even happen here in America. This one kind of drops some of that, going for more like the war part of it. And while that's all cool and fine, and I like action pictures, it's still, at the end of the day, not as interesting as the original miniseries. So I would give V The Final Battle a 7.5 out of 10. A 7.5 out of 10 for V The Final Battle. Have you ever seen this miniseries? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Which one do you prefer if you have seen both? The original or this one? I'd greatly appreciate you giving me a heads up on that one. I would like to know. Other than that, I got nothing else for this one. 7.5 out of 10 for V The Final Battle. I'll be back soon with some more reviews, but until next time, bye.